yes.
Hey,
Everybody in.
I'm calling the meeting. Welcome to the Wareham Conservation Commission meeting on Wednesday, March 6, 2022 at 6:30. We're opening. We have Elisa, Kwame, Carol, Ron, Michael, Sandy. Am I missing anybody? Do we have Nicole?
Oh, yeah.
I see Nicole, yes. One correction, Sandy, it's the 16th, not the 6th.
What did, oh,
You said the
I'm
6th.
looking at it. It says March 16th, but I didn't say that. But I want to welcome Nicole to our gathering. She has now been appointed by the selectmen as an associate member of conservation. Thank you very much for stepping up.
Thank you for
All right.
having me.
If you don't mind, I'll put the minutes until a little later, since we've got people waiting to be heard. We'll take our public hearings first.
Okay. Notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts, excuse me, Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 16th at 2022 at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for RJ Motto, Inc., care of JC Engineering, Inc., 2854 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, to construct a duplex, associated utilities, and a deck located on Assessor's Map 129, Lot 1101, C121, Old Glen Charlie Road, Wareham, Mass.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for this project?
Yes, Russell Motto here.
Good evening, Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering.
Okay. All right. Mr. Bichette, I believe it's your turn.
Sure. So this project site is at 21 Old Glen Charlie Road, and the project involves the construction of a duplex with decks and site work in the buffer zone to wetland at this site. This property already has a dwelling on it, and this project proposes to construct 2 additional duplexes with decks on the site with new septic systems and site work. The proposed duplex would be approximately 70 feet from the edge of the wetland, with the limit of work at 50 feet from the wetland. The wetland line was checked and no changes were made. At the site visit, it was found that there was some filling that has been done at this site that is within the 50-foot no activity zone. So there's stumps, fill, and other materials that have been dumped within this area. This alteration needs to be removed from the 50-foot no activity zone and disposed of off-site. So it's my recommendation that we get a revised plan that would show this area to be restored and how it's going to be stabilized. There's also other debris within the 100-foot buffer that should be removed as well. I think a lot of that would have to be moved for the construction anyway, but I just wanted to make that known. We did get a DEP file number for this project, but at this time I would recommend a continuance to get a revised plan so that we could take care of that issue with the unpermitted fill.
Brad, anything to add?
No, I discussed this project with Dave when we met earlier this week, where we have an application pending with the ZBA. There is a minor change at this moment regarding a fire truck turnaround. So we mentioned to Dave that I wanted to move forward tonight, but fully anticipated a continuance to address both the issues with the revegetation and the fill and the comments from other boards. So I was hoping to get any comments from the commission members tonight, so we could address any prior to the next hearing.
Thank you. Questions on the board? Alyssa,
Sandy,
Elisa,
it,
Elisa.
it says, this is simply a little, I think it's just a forgetfulness. To construct a duplex, it says. You repeated, Dave, that there are 2 duplexes.
That's true. I think one of them is outside the buffer zone, so that's why it was only referenced as the one.
So one would be a +6 or something like that?
No, this
No,
is
just
an order of
ignore it?
conditions. So this is a notice of intent, so there would be an order of conditions issued for this.
Okay. But there's only 1 duplex that we're working on, not 2.
Well, there's 2 proposed on the property, but only one happens to be within the 100-foot to the wetlands.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Sandy,
Anything else? Anything else?
not for me.
Kwame,
Yeah, so David mentioned the the fill that was next to the 50-foot zone. That was there during the excavation purposes, or was that there? That was their sort of something that was put on that property beforehand. I'm just trying to get that info.
oh, Russell, would you be willing to answer that question as to where that fill came from and how long ago it was dumped, it was deposited there?
Yeah, mostly from some construction that I was doing locally. Different type of excavation and contract work. I was storing some there before I would take it to another site. So that was, most of it was intended to be removed anyway. And then
Okay.
anything that would be in the foundation area of the construction would be removed and compacted properly with Brad's help.
Hey, Kwame, does that answer your question?
So it was work that you did, and now you're gonna take it away.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Carol,
No questions at this time.
Ron,
So I guess my question here, Dave, so we had some fill that's dumped and is within that 50-foot zone. Are we in line for talking about, obviously, I know we got to talk about, getting it taken care of and getting, the vegetation back to where it was? Are we talking about any type of fines associated with this because it's stuff that was stored within the no activity zone, or how would that, because it wasn't technically work, it was just stuff that was dumped from other work sites? So what is that, how do we look at that from a commission standpoint?
I mean, I would regard it as a violation. It was not a permitted activity. So regardless of how it got there, it's a violation. So I would say that would be in order.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're, holding consistency with it, with where it didn't come from that site, it came from somewhere else, but just to make sure. As far as other comments, I won't really have anything until we see the revised plan. That way all comments can be done at one time. So I'll wait for the revised plan as far as comments on the project itself.
hey, Michael,
Right, I'll just wait for the revised plan to come out. Thank you.
my questions, I found you had the soil that was dumped very close to that embankment. You have a pile of, looks like construction debris. Was that also within the 50-foot?
There is sort of a mixture within the 50-foot, I would say, of what would be brush, stumps, some construction debris. I think this larger pile of just strictly construction debris may not be within the 50, but it's pretty close. But
But it's within the wetlands.
no, it's not within the wetlands. It's
Okay,
within It's in,
The
within the
100
buffer
are-
zone to the well,
Within the 100 foot of the wetlands.
correct.
A pile of dirt, a pile of debris like stumps and stuff like that, a pile of construction, and a pile of, looks like tires or some type of conduits. So it was just, I was surprised. That's a pretty deep trench back there, drop down into that gully. So the houses will be within 70 feet of that gully, is that what I understand?
Yes, within 70 feet of the wetland line, which was down in that low area, yes.
Okay,
I'll put the plan back up.
and there will be 2 septic systems, one for each duplex, right?
That's
Correct.
correct.
Okay. So where one of its duplexes are going, the one closer to the wetland, which is the one further to the top side, right? Yeah, that one. So all the debris that's around that will have to be removed. The fill has to be removed. Okay,
Yes, and this line right here that is into the 50 foot is sort of the fill zone, if you will. So this is what has to be removed out of here along with some other stuff that's within the 100, but outside the 50.
within the 50, that, you mean it's down the banking?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't get close enough to the banking to notice the fill had been pushed over the banking.
yes,
So
it has.
that's not going to be easy to remove.
Nope. I think with an excavator with a long reach, you could get down there without too much difficulty.
Which is
Um,
different than the piles of dirt that I've seen there.
Yes, I did just show some photos. Did you see those when I had those up?
No, I must have been writing.
All right, let me just pull that up real
I can
quick.
show you my photos. I just wanted to make sure that we're looking at the same debris that I'm looking at. Okay, yeah, that's one area of trees and stumps and stuff like that. You're looking at it from the downside, from the
Yes,
slope
right
side.
there. This is
Yep.
looking sort of from the top looking down right
Yep.
here.
So that's one of it.
And that represents a 50-foot stake right there. So that smaller pile of debris that's up kind of on the flat area is outside the 50-foot. And Madam Chair, if I have a moment, can I speak to this a little bit?
Yeah, because some of that's gonna have to be moved, because you have to make, that's where you're gonna build the duplex. But okay, yes, please, Brad.
Correct. So the property owners owned this for a while. It was originally a single-family house. He created a second unit, a duplex, and because of the size, he's looking to develop it further. I don't know if he was fully aware there was a wetland at the bottom. During the summertime, it's completely dry. Most of the area, looks like it might be a wetland, or it's during most of the year, but during some of the years, it doesn't appear to be. The 50-foot is in play because of the unit count that's proposed.
Yep, you've got
Depending on
4
what's
or more.
proposed,
Yep.
depending on what's proposed on the site, if we were doing some other project, there would have been a 30-foot buffer applied to that project. Yeah, because it's a 50-foot, the encroachment is still where the encroachment is, but depending on the project, I just want to make it clear that if we were trying to do like one unit, there's only a 30-foot buffer that applies. But in this case here, with the two duplexes that are proposed to make a total of 6, so that's 4 or more units, a 50-foot buffer would apply. So I want to make that clear to the board, the commission. And we're fully aware that there was some stumps or debris filling that we will have to pull out and restore and replant.
Okay. Is there anybody on the line that would like to comment on this project before we continue it? I'm hearing none. The next meeting is April 6th. Brad, will you be able to give us a new plan by April 6th?
Yes.
So motion to continue to April 6th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'm going to ask for the vote. Alyssa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael,
Yep.
Sandy, yes, we're continued until April 6th.
All right. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I continue, I need to let the public know that we've had 3 requests for continuances. The CNS Home Solutions at 459 Main Street, the Wareham MA3, which is the Faring Hills Solar Project, and the Wareham PV, which is the Route 25 project. Of course, it's been so long, I can't remember where that one is. But anyway, those have asked for continuance, and we'll deal with them as we get them on the agenda. The next hearing, please. Oh, hey, excuse me, Nicole, I didn't ask you if you had any questions. I apologize.
That's okay. I did not have any questions.
Thank you. I won't forget you again. Okay,
You're still taking it all in, right?
Yes, I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for Robert J. and Janine Perry, care of Schneider, Davignon, and Leon, Inc., P.O. Box 480, Mattapoisett, Mass. 02739, to construct an addition, patios, and to install a new septic system located on Assessor's Map 120, Lot 35, 4 Wareham Lakeshore Drive, Wareham, Mass.
thank you. Is there anybody here representing this project?
Dave Gibagon should be online somewhere.
Yes, Madam
I'm the
Chair,
owner of
Dave,
the plot, period.
Dave Davignon from Schneider Davignon Leon representing.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Bichette,
This project site is at 4 Wareham Lakeshore Drive, and this project is an application that is being filed in response to an enforcement order that was issued for the unpermitted construction of patios in the buffer zone to Inland Bank and the wetland along Glen Charlie Pond. The application is also proposing to construct an addition with an attached garage to the existing house and to try to permit the after-the-fact patios that were constructed at the site. So a 24 by 28 foot addition and garage is proposed, and this would be approximately 60 feet from the inland bank. This would be attached to the driveway side of the house. That part of the property is fairly flat. There's no real grade changes proposed around that part of the property except for some minor grading in the proposed driveway area. There's a large patio behind the existing dwelling, and it appears that this area had a patio in the past, but this new patio extends much closer to the pond than the previous patio location was. And this is based on aerial photos and some photos that the project engineer had. There's also another block patio that was constructed closer to the water with some block stairs leading down to it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence that there was any patio in that particular area, at least that's been submitted so far. These two features are within the 30-foot no activity zone. We did get a DEP file number for this project. At this time, I would say I would recommend the approval of the proposed addition and garage, but not approving these patio areas that were built within the 30-foot no activity zone. So as far as I'm concerned, those should be removed and the area stabilized once that has happened. So that's what I have on that one.
Dave, can you do me a favor? Will you take your cursor and show me where that 30-foot is? I'm having a tough time reading the tiny plan I have. Okay,
So the 30-foot line essentially is this line where the cursor is going right here.
wow. So the lower patio and the steps are definitely in the 30-foot and no evidence that they previously existed. The big patio on the top is bigger than what had been there.
Yeah, there was some old stairs that were here, but I didn't see any evidence of this ever existing. Up here, there was a patio behind this deck that kind of fell in this configuration, roughly. And then this area was not previously there, and that's what was constructed.
So most of what is constructed in that patio wasn't previous. It's almost completely relocated and extended out from the house.
I would say that yes, yep.
Okay.
And there's a sunroom being added to the existing wooden deck, right?
On the existing deck, yep.
On the existing, okay. All right. Dave, your turn, the other Dave.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commission members. A couple of things I'd like to add. I'm not sure if Dave mentioned the septic system is proposed to be upgraded. We have a cesspool directly behind the house, underneath that patio walkway, and then there's an overflow leaching pit associated with that. Both of those will be replaced. The plumbing will be redirected to the front of the house, and the new septic tank will be placed in front of the house with a denitrification system. Microfast 0.5 unit will be within the septic tank, and then there'll be a concrete chamber leaching field located south of that septic tank between the garage and the street. The Board of Health reviewed the plan and approved the variances at their 5 o'clock meeting today. And then lastly, the deck that's there now, obviously some of the footprint is being converted into a 3-season room, and there is a 4-foot proposed extension of that deck towards the south. So as far as the patios, after Dave and I and Mr. Perry met this morning at the site, Dave, if you could scroll up so we can see the lower patio. We discussed a possibility of hopefully the commission would allow us to remove the hard structure of that patio, restore it with some loam and seed, but leave the wooden timbers as the frame, because it actually helps hold the bank from sliding down towards the pond. He's had a hard time controlling runoff in that direction. He's willing to take out all of that hardscape. And on the other patio, the northerly patio, yes, there was a patio that extended about 16 feet past the deck. And there was a retaining wall as well at the end of that patio that not only vertically held the fill in place, but also was elevated about 3 feet above, almost like a railing system, if you will, as concrete blocks. We have photographs of that existing. It appears the contractor he hired went out and just rebuilt the patio, but beyond the cesspool and the leaching pit, and trying to avoid that. So it's probably about 9 feet beyond what was there before. What we'd like to propose for restoration of that area is to, if anybody's been to the site, the retaining wall is very well built and it is a solid structure. We'd like to keep the retaining wall in place and restore the patio back to the distance it went out from the deck. So essentially take it where it is now and move it into that blank spot between the patio and the deck, and then restore the area that is more of a rectangle with a little circular shape there back to loam and seed and lawn area. If the commission would allow us to do that, we would certainly submit a revised plan, ask for a continuance to update the plan for the next meeting. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Wow, okay. Questions from the board? Elisa, Alyssa,
No, no, you got it right.
which one? I said it twice. Elisa.
Elisa. No, I'm fine right now.
Okay, Kwame,
Yeah, I think I went to the site when they David issued the enforcement order, and the owner wasn't home, but I just walked down, and it's actually pretty nice. But that retaining wall, that thing is yeah, very, very sturdy. So I think that if it's within that area where they've noted, then yeah, that's something that's has to be noted for some proper removal or whatever has to, whatever the commission agrees to. But it's more of a statement, not a question.
Carol,
No, no questions.
Ron,
So I am just, I guess the part of the project that I'm focused on right now is the patios and whatnot. My reservation slash concern is, it was mentioned two different things. The one on the lower patio closest to the pond, they talk about removing all of the hardscape, and leaving the timbers that are in place as one, and then on the patio closest to the house, removing all of the hardscape and kind of pushing it back and reseeding and whatnot. My only concern with that is to me, there really wouldn't be a point in having you do that if we're going to allow other parts of it to continue to stay in place. It's not a matter of how much is there. It's a matter of where it was done. In my opinion, I'm just one of the members on the commission, but I don't see how we could allow the walls to stay and have the hardscape removed, because to me it's the same thing, no matter if it's a little bit or a lot. It's still within an area that's not supposed to be done, and so that would be my comment on that. But as far as the rest of the project, I don't see any issues with that, and I'm on board with approval on that, but really need to dig into what we should be having happen to the parts of the project that are built within that 30-foot no activity zone.
thank you. Michael,
Besides the patios that were already addressed by the other group, I think you already addressed my concern going into this already. Because I couldn't, like Sandy, I couldn't see the map that well before the meeting. I just want to confirm again that those septic systems, again, they're 100 feet away from the water, correct?
they are,
It's
They are?
not quite,
Okay.
it's not quite 100 feet away from the top of the bank, but because there's only so much room before you hit the lot line. So this is their lot line right here. So that's about as far back as they can actually go and still be on their property. So, they're maxing it back as far as they can push it.
So in other words, then there's no other option up there then. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
okay, Nicole, any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay, I do. We didn't address the stairs that are down by the lower patio. We
They're
talked
proposed,
about
they are proposed to be removed, Madam Chair.
and what in their place?
We're proposing to plant vegetation in that place.
Okay.
You're talking about the stairs to the water?
Oh, the stairs next to that, you talked about removing the hardscape on the lower patio, leaving
Yes.
the frame there for stabilization of the banking. And what about the stairs that are going down, those paver stairs? Are they going away?
But they're wood stairs.
No,
can
wait,
be-
No, it says paver, and I think,
there are two, I think. if I
Oh,
can-
that one there, I'm sorry.
He's talking about the timber staircase going to the water.
it says paver steps.
No, below that, Sandy, all the way down going toward the pond. There's
I'm not
timber
talking-
staircase.
I'm not
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
but
those.
Sandy's asking about these, Ron.
These.
Because these are
Yeah.
within the 30-foot.
And I think we said that they would be gone. And I think the applicant is correct in saying that, you know, to put back in some plantings or, you know, something you can walk
Okay.
to.
At the bottom, planting shelves to be supplemented. Okay, after the fact, authorization request the timber remaining. Timber stairway to be removed, area to be replanted. That's the wooden stairs. I'm talking about the pavers that are a little bit higher. Wrong. Dave, yeah, those, what are we going to do with those?
Come out. Why wouldn't they be taken out?
Well, we hadn't talked about them. We only talked about the hardscape patio. So we hadn't talked about those steps.
So
There
what do you
wasn't a-
think?
There was an original staircase there. It wasn't too well built. It was like blobs of cement just thrown into the bank of the staircase.
Dave, do we have evidence that something existed previously there?
I got very vague pictures. It does show.
Yeah,
a
I have not seen anything, and certainly there was nothing as substantial as what is currently there.
Okay.
No, they did end up a little wider.
Paul, can you please mute yourself? What a cute dog, but if you could mute yourself, because we are hearing noises from that. Thank you very much. So the timbers on the bottom will stay for stabilization. The hard patio above them will go. The steps next to the, those wooden steps going to the water would be removed, right?
That's correct.
The hardscape up top would be removed.
It'd
And
be
the stair,
relocated.
no,
Removed
I'm
and
talking,
relocated.
I'm still down to the bottom by the pond.
Okay, the staircase, okay, the solid staircase.
And that solid paver steps. But there was something there before. Did I hear the homeowner say that?
Yes, there was just concrete. Basically, they shelved it and then just poured concrete in it. And then over time, it just got buried from all the runoff. The whole property is on a bad slope. Everything just gets washed away. You know, the dirt, topsoil's all like washed all over it.
So
And
we're
all that
here
was
for,
removed and this was put in its place.
okay, so we're here for two reasons. One, to comment on the addition and the septic system, and then to talk about the enforcement order of the items that have been added to the banking within 30 feet of the wetland. Now, Mr. Bichette, do we comment on everything, or can we continue this to talk about a new plan showing the removal, the items as they are removed or relocated, the upper patio, so we can see what it would look like if these features were to be gone? Is
Well,
that
I think the Dave DeVignan from the engineer stated that they would come back with a revised plan. So I would say we should continue and see what they come up with for the revised plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, I'm just gonna say Dave D, so I don't get it mixed up with Dave P. Is that all right with you? You think you can have it done by the next meeting being April 6th?
Yes, Madam Chair, I do.
Okay, is there anybody on the line that would like to comment on this project? We are going to continue it.
Motion to
Hearing none,
continue to April 6th.
Second,
I have a motion and second, all in favor. Alyssa, Kwame, Carol.
yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, yes.
Thank you,
We
Madam
are
Chair. Thank-
continued. Thank you. Okey dokey. Next one, please.
Sorry. Okay. Notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 6:30 PM on the notice of intent for Robert Rigo, care of Riverhawk Environment LLC, 2183 Ocean Street, Marshfield, Mass, to construct a dock and stairs located on Assessor's Map 128, Lot 1000A, 326 Glen Charlie Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Yeah, how can I get out of it?
Thank you. Is there anybody here to speak to this project?
Yes, Madam Chair, my name's Bob Rigo. I'm the homeowner and also the professional engineer who drew the plans.
And thank you. Now, Bob, I'm sure if you looked on the ring, you will see that Alyssa and I had been there visiting your site.
Yes, I saw that, yes.
Okay, before we go on, can I ask a question, Mr. Pichette? Are we allowed to pump water out of the pond for irrigation?
No.
Okay, thank you.
What regulation prevents that?
We will talk about, sorry.
What regulation?
Yeah, what regulation prevents that?
Well, the town bylaw requires any alteration or activity within a wetland resource area to get an order of conditions for such activities, which has not been done.
So placement of a pump, you're saying, falls within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission?
Yes, of course, it's a structure. We had everybody that
What
lives on
about
the
a
pond
boat or a
pumping water
permanent?
out of there. It would not be advisable.
Okay. All right, I guess, so I would need to file a notice of intent to place a structure, but not to withdraw water, right?
Well, that's something I'd have to look into because under the bylaw, that's still an alteration, whether it's placement of a structure or whether it's alteration of a resource area.
Okay,
So you're saying drawing of water. All right, I guess I'll file. Can I amend the order to include that?
we'll talk about it in a minute, okay?
Okay,
I want
yes.
Yeah, I want Dave, before we got further, I wanted to say, boy, that must be tough running up and down those ladders.
Yes, it is.
It was a scary sight. Okay, Mr. Bichette, your turn.
So again, this site is at 326 Glen Charlie Road. And this project involves the construction of a dock into Glen Charlie Pond and access stairs down to the dock. And this is in the buffer zone 2 bordering vegetated wetland and within land under a water body. The site is also within the estimated habitat of rare and endangered species. A 4 by 30 foot removable aluminum dock is proposed. And a stairway approximately 70 feet in length is proposed from the top of the slope down to the water's edge. The stairway would be supported by 8-inch sonotubes. We did get a DEP file number for this project, but we did not get comments, or I have not seen comments from Mass Natural Heritage yet on this project. So I would recommend a continuance for comments from Natural Heritage before a decision is made.
Okay. Bob,
Yes.
is there anything you'd like to add before we start asking our questions?
No, that was a good overview by Dave. And basically, I would just like to add that I would now like to, if possible, to amend the order, to amend the notice so it can be included as part of this project, that it include placement of a pump and a 1-inch line along the stairs to withdraw water from Glen Charlie Pond for the purpose of irrigation.
Okay, we'll come, I would expect that since we're probably not going to vote, if we don't vote on it, it's tonight, you can still submit us a revised plan.
Yep,
Mr.
absolutely.
Bichette, right?
I would say that could happen. We may have to re-advertise to reflect this additional activity that was not in the original ad.
Okay, but
Madam
gonna-
Chair, do you think that's a significant enough change to the notice or to the impact of the resource areas to require re-notification?
I don't know. I think I will be talking to Mr. Bichette about that.
Okay, okay.
But you already have a dock there, don't you?
It's just, it's a removable dock, but.
But there is one there already.
It's there, but it's an
Okay.
aluminum dock that's removable, yeah.
I'm going to ask the board, Lisa, your questions.
You muted.
How big is the removable dock?
It's 4 feet by 10 feet.
4 by 10, and do you take it out and put it up high for the winter? Or do you leave it in year round?
It was just placed there temporarily to get my boat up to. But yeah, it'll be removed yearly, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
But your dock on the map, on the plans is 4 by
30.
30.
Yeah, there's 2 more sections that I didn't put in.
Okay,
'cause I was
all
waiting
right.
for the permit, and I didn't put the planking, yes.
Thank you. Next, Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Carol,
No questions at this time.
Ron,
So Dave, you mentioned natural heritage. What about DMF? Are we waiting on comments from them too?
No, they wouldn't be commenting on this particular project.
Okay, so just natural heritage.
Right.
All right, no, I think I'll hold my comments or questions for a potential revised plan based on the pumping of the pond.
Michael,
I just had concerns about the dock, but Elisa beat me to it, so I'll just wait till the new plan comes out. Thank you.
Nicole.
No questions.
Okay, I have several. There is, next to the dock, there is a wooden structure in the water. What is that for?
That
It's a
was just
frame, it's a frame of something.
Yes, you're correct. That again is just a temporary structure I threw together to hold kayaks because getting up and down the hill at this point is impossible. But
And that would be removed when if the dock is permitted, right?
that's correct, yes, yeah.
And when did the dock that's in there now, when was that placed down there on the water?
It was just placed there about a week ago for this, just to drive my boat up to this during the early spring.
Okay. When this dock, you said that the 3 sections would be aluminum and removable. How would you ever get them up the hill? You're gonna carry them
I wouldn't.
upstairs?
I'd put them on top of my boat, and drive them over to my neighbor's launch and pull them up that way.
Okay,
Or they only weigh 80 pounds too, so they could be carried up the stairs, but
was there any material identified for the type of wooden steps?
pressure treated lumber.
Okay, but that will not be placed in the ground. They will be placed on top of what's going in the ground? Sonic tubes.
It was concrete footings, correct?
Concrete
currently
footing.
what's proposed.
Sandy,
Yes,
I have a question. Would Mr. Rego consider doing, I know that some places people do a separate well for watering their lawn as opposed to pulling it directly out of the pond, because that's sort of not his water, if you will. I don't know what the rule is in the regulation, but it does seem like that's not his water. It's everybody on the pond, but maybe he's digging his own well.
Well, I think that might be correct, but I think at this point, we would want to not discuss that since it's not technically in front of us at this point.
Sure.
Could I just comment to her question in that the groundwater in Massachusetts is owned by the state of Massachusetts also. So anybody who puts a well into it is drawing groundwater from the state of Massachusetts, just like the Glen Charlie Pond is drawing water from Glen Charlie Pond, which is an impoundment and not even a great pond, so it's not a water estate of Massachusetts. So I don't know whose water it is. Part of that water is on my property. So I own part of that water.
We will continue. I honestly do not think that that's significant enough to refile a notice, because is there anybody on this line that would like to talk to this speak to this project? I'm hearing none, so it tells me that your abutters were not concerned enough about the dock and the stairs. I don't think the pump would be part of their concern, but I would like to have Mr. Bichette check to see if it's possible, if there's any type of regulation in town that prevents or should not allow water to be extracted from a public body of water.
So Sandy,
Mr.
my only comment to that would be is maybe the abutters would have something to say if they knew that it was happening. That would be my only comment to that.
More
is
than,
they-
well,
Yeah.
more than likely, they're probably doing it themselves.
I mean,
when-
probably, but I'm just saying it wasn't mentioned when they were notified of the filing, so it
And
could be.
when we permitted this house to be constructed, I don't think we mentioned it other than no strong reducing nitrogen fertilizer, but there's a beautiful lawn there. Okay,
Can I make a
So-
comment? Can I make or ask a question? Sorry, my
please
name is
identify
Jill.
yourself.
My name is
please
Jill Lockhart. I own property on Glen Charlie Pond. I wasn't aware of this particular project, but I would just like to make the comment for historic reasons. Glen Charlie, on the far side from this individual's property, there are bogs all down on that side. Historically, the pond had been used to flood those bogs for every fall season when they would harvest them for the harvesting. As to who owns the property, the water, I've always been told that it doesn't matter whether it's freshwater or saltwater, people do not own the bodies of water. They're owned by government. But whether that's true or not, I don't know. Because obviously I've got waterfront property there, so I do know where his property is, and I do know that that's quite the slope that he lives at. But that's just my comment
Yeah.
in terms of using it for irrigation. I don't know how many gallons of water he's planning on pumping out of it every year, but I'd have to agree with Alyssa in that, I think well water would probably be a better idea. Just from a property owner perspective and how and having been down on that lake for over 60 years, or nearly 65 years, I've been on that property, so.
Thank you,
just my
Jill.
comment, thank you.
Just there's part of me that says, okay, I'm going to irrigate my lawn. The water's going into my lawn. It's going to seep back down and eventually get back into my water table. But I'm concerned about having a frame structure in the water not permitted. I'm concerned about having a dock already placed in the water not permitted. So I'm sure we'll be looking at some fines when you come back with a modified, with your updated notice of intent. Is there any other comments on this before we ask for a continuance? Okay,
Motion is the next meeting good for the applicant?
Robert, can you have us a changed notice of intent, a change plan by then?
Sure, it'll just be addition of a note. So yeah, absolutely.
The addition of the water
Of a
line and the
note,
pump,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because we'll know where you're going to put the pump attached to the dock or whatever it is, so that information.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and second. We'll go down the line. Alyssa,
Yes.
Kwame,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, we'll continue it until April 6th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protected Bylaw Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 6:30 PM on the notice of intent for CNS Home Solutions LLC, care of Outback Engineering, Inc., 165 East Grove Street, Middleborough, Mass. 02346, to expand a gravel parking area located on Assessor's Map 61, Lot 1022, 459 Main Street, Wareham, Mass.
Thank you. They have asked for a continuance. Is there anybody in the line that want to comment on this project? Because I'm not even going to ask Mr. Bichette to read to the project because it's being continued. If not,
Motion to continue to April 6th.
thank you.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Alyssa, Kwame,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
yes,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy. Thank you. We are continued.
Okay. We're
Okay.
Going, yep,
the
wait
next
a minute. One more. Okay, notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 6:30 PM on the notice of intent for Paul Summers, care of FW Westgate and Son and Associates, 189R Main Street, Wareham, Mass., to construct an addition located on Assessor's Map 39, Lot T725, 25 Oak Street, Wareham, Mass.
Is there anybody here representing this project?
Yes, Paul Summers, the owner. And my name is Frank Westgate. I did the design here and the field work for this project.
Okay, Mr. Bichette?
Okay. This project is at 25 Oak Street, and this notice of intent is being submitted in response to an enforcement order that was issued for work done at this site that was beyond what we had originally approved for a project at the site under a previously filed request for determination. So the owner did come in and file a request for determination for a small addition on the front of the house, on the road side of the house. But then once work got started, they made that larger than what we had approved. The owner was asked to then file a notice of intent to address that additional work, which he has now done. So the addition that actually got constructed at this point is 13 by 26 in size. It is within 100 feet of the coastal bank, but it's outside the 30-foot no activity zone. So this is something that I think that we would have approved had he submitted this as a notice of intent in the first place. I think this just got off track in terms of how much work ended up getting done versus what was originally proposed. So I don't have a problem with the project necessarily, but at this point, we have not received a DEP file number for the project. So I would have to recommend we continue the hearing until we get the DEP file number for the project.
Before, Dave, I never received this electronically through an email.
Yes, I got this a little late electronically. I thought I did send that, but maybe I erred and forgot to send that, but I will send it out before the next meeting.
We're going to continue anyway, waiting for DEP. Okay, Frank, Paul, which one were you? Any comments on this project?
No, other than what I've mentioned in my opening letter. We're going to abide by any of the conditions that you people want to order for this.
Okay. Questions on the board? Elisa,
No.
Kwame,
no, thank you.
Carol,
No questions.
Ron,
The only thing is I thank you for submitting something and trying to get this figured out and rectified.
Michael,
Not at this time, thank you.
Nicole.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, I do. When this first notice came to us as a violation, we indicated a $300 fine to the homeowner and to the builder. I don't think that ever happened, did it, Mr. Bichette?
There was a fine to the homeowner, which was paid.
Okay, so that was taken care of. Okay,
Yes.
okay. My only comment is that, can you make sure your hay bales are up and right now? There's one of them that doesn't exist because it's been walked on so much. Just restore your hay bale line.
Okay. We can do
Okay.
that.
All right, so we are going to continue waiting for a DEP filing.
Okay.
Is there anybody online who'd like to speak to this project before we continue it? Okay,
Motion to continue to April 6th, is that gonna be doable?
Well-
It should be, it's just a matter
We're
of
waiting on
waiting.
we're waiting on the DP5, so it should be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
April 6th.
Second,
I have a motion and a second, all in favor. Elisa, Kwame.
Yeah,
Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, we are continued. Is there anything we're gonna get done tonight? Okay. Town of Wareham. For the Heinz Field, we received updated plans late this afternoon.
yeah.
That long.
Is there anybody here representing this project?
Bill Madden from GAF Engineering on behalf of the town of Wareham.
Okay. Mr. Bichette, your turn. Did you have a chance to see these new plans?
I did see the plans, but I honestly haven't had sufficient time to really adequately review them. So I was going to recommend a continuance, but I did want to bring the plans up and obviously have Mr. Madden have a chance to explain the changes and whatnot. But let me just get this.
Well, you bring that up. Bill, can you tell us what changes you did other than, I can't read. Yeah, what did you do?
I mean, the fundamental and the biggest change was at the back of the parking lot. You might recall that we had that pea stone trench and just overflowing that out into, once it infiltrated into the ground and filled up, it would just overflow out and sheet flow into the wetland
Yep.
to the northeast. So what we did is we changed that design to a rain garden, design an infiltrating rain garden, what would be considered infiltrating rain garden, which is different than an exfiltrating rain garden. And the reason why we chose that was due to the high water table that's out there. Water table is very high and doesn't provide us with much of an opportunity for separation between groundwater and our planting medium and things of that nature. So we looked at using an infiltrating rain garden. And the difference being is that these infiltrating rain gardens are basically, they're excavated into the ground. This one here is about 3 feet, a little better than 3 feet deep. There's a 40 mil polyethylene barrier that's placed in the bottom of it to prevent the groundwater from upwelling into the planting medium and, preventing proper growth of the plant and extracting volume away from that area for stormwater treatment. So what happens is that we have these two things they're called rain garden turrets that we have, rain garden turrets. They're basically a pre-treatment device that's going to be constructed in 2 locations at the end of the parking lot, where sheet flowing across the entire parking lot to that back drainage area. So those 2 rain guardian units, what they'll do is they'll intercept the coarse sediment that'll be retained within the chamber that's just below the surface of the grate. There's also a grate on the top of that, like a 24-inch diameter grate, where coarse debris would be captured and trapped. That would be like woody vegetation, leaves, paper, things of that nature. And horizontally within that chamber, there's a detail on the plan of it. There's also a filter that filters out even finer sediment from the stormwater before it actually enters into the rain garden. So the rain garden, the required size was, well, we put it, it's a little larger than it needs to be. This one is shown as 6 feet wide and 100 feet long. There's a 6-inch ponding depth that's standard for mass stormwater standards in that rain garden. And then there's 2 feet of engineered soil above the drain line that's in that polyethylene cell. So our water will come into the vegetated rain garden, will hit the turrets, go into the rain garden, infiltrate down into that perforated pipe in the rain garden, and then we're tying it into the existing storm drain that runs from the wetland at the east side of the site, all the way across Lopes Field into whatever we want to, whatever that embayment is called, on the opposite side of Lopes Field. So when we were investigating this, we were asked at the last meeting to figure out where that pipe went and what have you. We knew where it went. We didn't know the full extent of it. So we dug it up, we looked at it, we found the location of it, and turns out that it flows in both directions with the tide. So with the incoming tide, we're flooding that wetland. With the outgoing tide, we're draining that flooded water from the wetland. So we definitely need to separate our water from flowing back into our system. So our 12-inch pipe is fitted with a tide flex check valve. There's just an insert that goes into the 12-inch pipe that prevents water from filling up our rain garden. And the importance of that is it would be filling it up pretty much with salt water or brackish water, whatever it might be. It wouldn't be beneficial at all to the plant material. So that's what we chose to put there for protection of that rain garden. Also fitted it with, where it's only designed per stormwater management, it's only designed to treat a pretty small amount of water when it comes down to it, only because of the underlying soils. Those soils are D-soils. We put in 2 on top of that drain. We also have 2 overflow drains. So if excess water did rise up, it would drain into those 2 drains, go back into our 12-inch under drain pipe. And then if even more water came in, we put a small river rock stone level spreader at the back of it. So in the event that a more significant rainfall event occur, that water would discharge out of the back of the rain garden, while at the same time discharging water through our system into the wetland to the northeast. So that was the predominant change that we did there. We picked pretty much, shrubby vegetation to line the perimeter of it, and pretty much perennials and what have you, perennial ground covering grasses to go within the basin. There's a planting plan. It identifies the plant material and the quantity of them on the drawing. But that was the primary the primary change on the site. I met with Ken. I'm doing this work for the town of Wareham. Ken Buckland's in charge. Dave and I and Ken Buckland talked about it briefly on Tuesday afternoon. But I just wanted to share with Ken what we were proposing before we presented it at the meeting and what have you. Another thing that we're kind of short on, only because it's a portion of redevelopment and development, is the recharge water that we have to put in there. And it's D soils, has poor capabilities to recharge, but in those interior plant islands, we thought we might excavate those out, refill them with sand, place a layer of very fine pea stone, like 1/8-inch pea stone on top of those, and just let precipitation fall on those and provide the function of recharge. There's no ability for stormwater to find its way into those islands. And as opposed to doing nothing, we thought that providing recharge in that manner was at least a reasonable effort to provide something, and that's what we chose to do there. We also enhanced the erosion control a little bit. There was not a construction entrance zone on the prior plan. Changed the title around here and there. Now we show a construction entrance onto Wareham Ave. Yeah, Wareham Ave, and that's pretty much what the changes were on the plan. The grading is going to remain about the same, and that was pretty much it.
Thank you, because it was a lot to digest late in the day, and I'm with Mr. Pursuant. I would like to spend some more time looking at this for another meeting. I have one quick question. If we put in a berm in the eastern side where you have the space for the large vehicles, what about
Yes.
that company that uses this land to get his vehicles off his property? Will he still be able to do that?
Who? The
Whoever
neighbor?
it is that
No.
drives across that land, all with that.
I think that perhaps someone from the town should pay a visit to the person who's doing that. I believe it's a commercial business that puts his stuff over there. I don't know this firsthand, but you know, it's a municipal parking lot for municipal use by the residents and visitors.
I just think somewhere down the line, when we put up a pile of hay bales, he won't be able to get his stuff out. Were we going to do anything about the eastern component that's right now all treed and stuff that hadn't been just, Mr. Bichette, what am I talking about? That area in the east, that area. Were we
Yes, there
supposed to
was
do something with that?
there was some discussion last time about how that was presented in the initial application. So I think it's been acknowledged that there's obviously more than just redevelopment, and that's been addressed through this current change.
Thank you. We
Do you
are
wanna-
going to,
Did you want to, any talk on the redevelopment, or would you prefer to put it off to the continued hearing?
we'll put it off to the continued hearing. I will ask the commissions if they have any questions. Elisa.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is, I like the idea of the rain gardens and that. How much of a maintenance problem is this going to be? It just sounds like there are so many parts to this, this design that what's the maintenance for this?
The maintenance schedule is on the drawing. It's also included with the stormwater maintenance plan that was submitted, but the maintenance really boils down to those turrets and weeding and maintenance of the rain garden itself. The turrets, everything is quite visible from the surface to the ground. So that's one of the things I like about it, as opposed to a catch basin. When all the sediment gets deposited in a catch basin, it's 4 feet below the ground. Nobody ever sees it. Nobody knows what's there until it starts to build up and come through the grate. This is exposed at the surface, and the maintenance really involves, you know, a weekly or monthly drive-by in removing the debris and shoveling out the lower chamber in those rain garden turrets. So what a guy does is really, it's a 5-gallon bucket or 2 for each one. So we don't need a specialized piece of equipment. We just need a man with a strong back, a couple of buckets, a broom or 2, and that's what's done there. Inside the rain garden, they'll be picking up trash, weeding it, trimming and pruning the vines, you know, annually, replacing dead material twice a year. The schedule of all that is on the drawing. So it's really not as rigorous as one might think.
Okay, and then I had a question. So just how high are the rain gardens? You said 3 feet?
No, the rain garden is actually a little bit of a depression. There's a cross section on the plan that shows the edge of the parking lot that's basically at elevation 4.5. And then we drop into the rain garden. If Dave can pull it on the detail sheet, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happens is you come off the edge of the pavement, there's a there you go, right there, that's it. There's a small 3-inch lip right at the edge of the parking lot that goes down to the grass surface. And then we go down into the flat bottom of the the rain garden,
Okay,
has a 6-inch ponding area
yeah.
and a 2-inch mulch layer and 2 feet of engineered soil above the pipe.
Okay, I have another question, and this was a question that was looked at as, is this in the purview of conservation? And I do think it is because it affects people and animals, and that is the lighting around this. Do we have any idea? I mean,
We show 4 lights on the plan, and they're all centrally located on the islands. And each one of those lights is on a 17-foot pole. Each light is dark sky compliant and shielded to prevent any off-site migration of light.
Okay,
So we're
that was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was my question. Is it shielded for those who live around in those animals and whatever else?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kwame,
Yeah, this a real quick question from an engineering standpoint, not really conservation, but I mean, that area tends to flood just a little bit, right, Bill?
Yes.
And you're guaranteeing it's not gonna flood anymore after this
Yeah.
I'm not a gambling man, but what I can assure you is the site will be uniformly graded from like Onset Ave to the back. Currently, there's a pretty large ponding area in the middle of that parking area right now. So that'll all go away, and it will have sheet flow going from Onset Ave to the rear of the site into our collection system, into that pipe and out. And yes, there will be times where that will overflow and it will flow out the back of that rain garden. I think just to keep in mind of what the typical rainfalls are. 90% of our rainfalls in southeastern Mass are under 1 inch. So if we think about exactly, but we're really thinking about a water quality improvement here, and we're able to treat a large majority. We're able to treat every storm, even if we have an excessive rainstorm. The first flush finds its way into that drainage basin. The treatment occurs and the water leaves. Excess water after that's really occurring after the pavement's been, let's call it washed or rinsed the first time. But it is an overall improvement. I don't expect any standing water in the parking lot.
And I guess I don't know if this is a question for Bill, but who's going to maintain all this? This is definitely the town.
Yes.
Town engineering. Yeah.
Well, the town municipal maintenance department, and it's really limited to a very small area. It's that rain garden's 100 and I don't know. The rain garden itself is 100 feet long and 6 feet wide. It's 600 square feet. Not a lot. Not a lot of effort would be required to maintain it, and other than perhaps some street sweeping that would need to occur a couple of times a year.
Oh, the garden club.
hey,
No,
My mom's in the other room. I'll go get her.
Sorry. Thank you.
you have too many garden club members on this call. So,
But they're always a big help.
Mr. Madden, so Mr. Menard is all right with this?
I talked to Dave about it. He said he's fine with it. As far as I talked to him about the connection to the pipe, I didn't talk to him about his maintenance, in all honesty.
It should be discussed. Okay,
will.
Carol, any questions?
No questions.
Ron,
No questions.
Michael,
Just one quick question. I refreshed my memory. In the land just south of that oversized vehicle or trailer parking, there were trees there, correct?
Yes.
Are those going to be removed or are they going to be conserved somehow?
I just noted on my plan that we show it all being cleared, not all being cleared, but cleared back behind the pavement. I think I'll change that plan a little to preserve a little bit more of that. There's an ability to keep a little bit of it there. So
Because I wasn't sure somehow because it looked like the line was going through it. And it wasn't quite clear how that was going to go. All right.
yeah, I
thank
mean,
you.
if you look at that little half moon, there to go, Dave, right there, that's the existing tree line. And the darker line with the same shape as the proposed tree line, just to the right of that. So
Yeah, let's
that's
talk about the one. Yeah, because there's one further down. It may not be on that map, but it was a different one. Where it was like the same thing. I just couldn't tell.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Nicole, any questions?
No, I had a question about who was going to maintain it, but someone already asked that.
Yeah, that was mine. I had that one too. Did I have anything? Did I want to say anything? Nope, I think that was it, is listening. Oh, Mr. Madden, does this rain garden that you're planning here, is it installed any place else in the town or any place else that you know that it works well? Because I've never seen this feature before.
We've done several. We haven't done any that I recall. You know where there are a couple where Wareham Family Dentistry is up there on Sandwich Road on the right-hand side. There's
Oh, the Tamaguini property.
yes, there's maybe 3 small ones there. You know, it's a low impact development technique. We're supposed to use them for small, you know, small isolated areas. A lot of them, but that's one there. And then if you were familiar with the town of Marion, where the band shell is, they used to have a very long one that was parallel to the driveway, another one on the opposite side of the street that was, they removed all of them this year to redo them over. They were probably 20 years old.
Okay, so it's worth a while around the dentist office up there just to take a look at it. Is there anybody on the line that would like to comment on this project? If not, we are going to continue.
Continue till April the 6th.
Unless there's someone wants to comment right now, so that's a motion to continue into April 6th.
Second.
I have a second. Elisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, we're continued. Next hearing is Horatio and Cynthia Mello, Shell Lane. We did get a revised plan this afternoon, did we not?
Yes, we did.
Is there anybody on the line representing this project? Mr.
Bill
Madden?
Madden from GAF Engineering, here on
Thank you.
behalf of Horatio and Cynthia Mello.
And thank you for the new plan, Mr. Bichette.
All right, let me just get this up here. So this project site is at 13 Shell Lane. This project initially proposed a pier extension to this existing pier. The commission at a previous meeting had some concerns with that extension and it asked for a modification to that plan. And so the engineer just recently provided this revision to the project to more or less eliminate the extension to the pier and simply add the boat lift to the side of the existing floats. So this is a much reduced proposal compared to what we originally were presented with. I think, in my opinion, this is a much better project. And so I would recommend this be approved based on this revised plan, because all this is really going to involve now is just the placement of this proposed boat lift on the side of the existing floats.
And float stops.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Madden, anything to add?
I mean, obviously, we'd like to have our original plan, the one that was originally presented. That's our favorite plan, obviously. You know, you folks did ask for us to come back and prepare a sketch. But I think I took it a little further than a sketch and really just drew the plan. I mean, you know, I think we have an alternative that's reasonably close. I mean, clearly the boat lift under the original proposal where we're accessing it from fixed pier side of things is much better from an operational point of view. But I understand what your thoughts are on that. And, you know, Horatio and I talked about it and, you know, what I guess it wouldn't be our favorite alternative, but I guess our original plan might not be your favorite alternative either. So we're able to come up with common ground. I think that's very important.
I think you got a compromise.
Yeah, well, that's always good, but that's what we did. And we already reduced the size of the float. It was a little bigger than it was supposed to be. It's down to 296 feet. So we have compliance there. We're going to meet compliance with our off the bottom with those float stops. We're going to maintain our 30 inches. And, you know, I think we have just a little over 2 feet of water at low tide underneath the floats in its current state. So.
Questions on the board, Elisa,
No.
Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Carol, Ron,
No questions.
Michael,
Questions, thank you.
Nicole.
No questions.
I have none. Thank you. Is there anybody on the line that will comment on this project? Seeing none,
Move that we close the hearing?
I have a
Second.
motion to close the hearing. I have a second. All in favor, Lisa,
Yes.
Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, the hearing is closed.
So, so it would be standard order of conditions and float stops? Is that what I,
The float stops are there on part of the plan, so
okay, so just the standard order of conditions.
I believe that is it. I
So I'll
have a
make a
mo-
motion to approve the project with the standard order of conditions
Second,
Based
have
on
a
the
second.
revised plan.
based on the revised plan.
Okay.
second.
Thank you, Dave.
And the plan is dated,
Oh, the plan, sorry.
It's dated the 14th.
thank you, 3/14.
Or revised through 3/14.
Yes, all right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Lisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, it's done.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
Much appreciated.
Get your paperwork from Mr. Bichette before you started, okay?
Very good.
Thank
Oh,
you.
we got one done.
Yay.
Oh, it took till about 8
Oh.
o'clock.
The next one is David Andre at 69 Great Neck Road, and we have a revised plan. Is there anybody here to speak to that project?
You're
Hold
muted,
on, let me
Kenny.
go.
Kenny, you're muted. There you go.
Okay, thank you. I'm still getting used to this. I'm old school. Madam Chair, Ken Motta from Field Engineering.
And your last, sorry, one more time, your last name?
Motta, M-O-T-T-A.
Thank you. And I guess you got planning board approval. Congratulations.
Yep.
Okay, now, Mr. Bichette, the project, please. Did you have time? Are you comfortable with the revised plan? Because it's just a corner that is under our purview, right?
Yes, I'm just pulling this up here so everybody has that in front of them.
Okay. I hope no one printed out the 71 pages. I went and printed only page 71.
Okay, yeah, so this property address is at 69 Great Neck Road. And this project involves the construction of a residential subdivision, part of which is in the buffer zone to Salt Marsh and Coastal Bank, which exists on the other side of Great Neck Road from where this project is proposed. And so a small portion of the site is within the buffer zone. The end of the road that meets Great Neck Road and part of the stormwater system is also within that area and partially within the flood zone. So This project has been in front of the planning board as well as the Conservation Commission. The project was being reviewed by the town's consulting engineer. He has since given his blessing on the stormwater design for this project. And so I would say at this stage, the commission should approve this project with the standard order of conditions and the added conditions that the stormwater systems be maintained in accordance with the stormwater operation and maintenance plans. And for any other conditions the commission may want to include relative to snow removal and things of that nature, so it's not plowed into that detention basin in such an event. So I would say those are the conditions that I would recommend. I know there was some discussion at previous meetings about runoff from the proposed structures and driveways from those structures. Those lots are all outside of the commission's jurisdiction, so I'm not sure if we could necessarily condition that, but I'll leave that up to the commission to discuss.
I did speak to the planning board and requested dry wells for all the runoffs, and I think they were going to do that. Okay,
Yes.
Kenny, anything to add?
No, David pretty much covers it all. As far as like snow removal, the owners will be responsible for the snow removal until such time as they start developing the lots. As he's building the road, he'll probably push the snow up to the cul-de-sac and stockpile it on the cul-de-sac, where it would run back down into the the catch basins in the street system, and then go through the treatment system that we have proposed on there. So it's not something, there's no reason to directly plow the snow into the infiltration basin.
No reason, but.
Okay. All right, now questions on the board, Elisa. Alyssa.
Elisa, right. Those dry wells that you mentioned, would that be something that we should definitely mention just in case planning doesn't or zoning doesn't?
Nope, it's outside of our, we have no say on it.
Even though it goes into the buffer zone of the salt marsh there?
Nope, we have no say. It was a recommendation to the planning board, and I thought I had seen Mr. Rowley say yes, but Ken, do you remember?
Well, yeah, and we're going to record a covenant with the performance guarantee on the roadway that's going to stipulate, and it's going to carry with the with the property that each of the homeowners will be required to put in the roof drains.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Elisa?
It does, but I have another question, and that is, who is taking care of the new road that's in? Who does the maintenance on that? Is that a private road?
There'll be an association of the homeowners as he sells the lots. But right now, since he owns the entire lot, he's the sole entity of the association. So he would be responsible for the roadway.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Okay, Kwame.
No questions. Thank you.
Carol.
No questions.
Ron.
No questions.
Michael.
Did the original plan have the road going through the wetland or not?
No, there's no road within any wetland resource area.
I thought the original one did. All right. Okay. Now second question. We have no say in any of the salt water across from Great Neck Road. So it could serve any runoff coming off that new road.
No, we would have say in it, but in terms of the review of the stormwater design, that's why the town's consulting engineer reviews that, and he looked at that and feels as though what's been presented is adequate and should not impact that salt marsh. So we have to kind of stick with the engineer's recommendations on that, since he is working on the town's behalf.
All right,
And
thank you.
I have to admit, somebody did an effort and cleaned out the stormwater basin on the marsh side. It was just so loaded with little weeds and dirt and stuff like that, but somebody cleaned it out, so it now drains nicely versus puddling. Okay. Nicole, any questions?
No questions.
And I have none. Is there anybody in the, on the line that would like to comment on this project? I hear none.
I move that we close the hearing.
Thank you.
Second,
And I have a second. All in favor, Lisa, Kwame, Carol, Ron,
yes.
Mike, Sandy. The hearing is closed.
What would the conditions be on this, Dave?
We're going to
Uh,
ask that they maintain the stormwater per the maintenance plan. No
They do not.
no snow is to be stored in the retention basin. Is that the two?
And they take care of the road as a
Well,
development.
we can't put that in there.
Why?
I don't think we can put that in there
Why?
because that's part of the covenant of the homeowners, but we're really concerned about the stormwater
No.
retention basin.
Can't we say it some way that just sort of takes care of that? I mean, instead of saying, gee, maybe
Well,
you
we-
should, but they won't, you know?
Okay, we can say they have to maintain the road within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay, I move that we accept this project with the standard order of conditions, plus that snow is not pushed into the retention basin. That they maintain the area of the road that is in the 100-foot buffer zone. And what was the other thing you wanted?
The maintenance of the stormwater structures.
And the maintenance of the stormwater structures
Per the maintenance plan.
per the maintenance plan.
Wait a
That
minute,
is the
who has
motion.
Wait a minute, Sandy. What do you mean per maintenance plan? I didn't see a maintenance plan.
That was part of that big 70 some odd pages, wasn't it not?
You know, I didn't go through 70 pages, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But
no,
I-
the stormwater operation and maintenance conditions were outlined within that stormwater report. So that's what will be referenced as part of the conditions. That they have to maintain this in accordance with those conditions that they put in place.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a motion and it's been seconded. I'm going down to Lisa, Kwame,
Yes.
Carol,
Abstain.
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, Dunn, Ken, finally. All
Thank
right,
you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
of course,
Have a
before
good night.
any work comes, see Mr. Bichette for your paperwork.
Okay, will do.
Next
you, Dave.
hearing
Thank you.
is Wareham MA 3. They have requested continuance for, plus we also received a document today from an Eric Latanta. I would like to, for the record, indicate that his 3 attached documents be part of our file for this project. We have a letter from the Wareham Historic Commission. We have a document from Historic and Archaeological Resources of Southeastern Massachusetts, and a letter from Eric himself. And I just wanted to indicate that we have the documents and we'll put in the file for this hearing, for this project. But it is going to be continued. Can I make the motion, please?
Motion to
Someone-
continue until April 6th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Lisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, done. Next one, Wareham PV1, they have requested continuance.
Continue.
They have requested continuance until 4/6.
Let me just.
Motion
move
to continue to April 6th.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor. Elisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, it's continued. The next hearing is Levy and Long. Is there somebody here for this project?
Yes, Robert Bremen from Bremen Surveyor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Bichette.
All righty, let me just get this plan situated here.
I think this is the first time we've seen this, isn't it?
We did see it quite some time ago initially, but we haven't seen it in quite some time because they were trying to get the septic system plan worked out with the Board of Health and a couple other matters as well.
Because I have absolutely no notes on it, so this is new to me. Okay. Let's go.
Okay, let me just make this a little bigger here. Okay, so the project site is at 80 Mayflower Ridge Drive. And this project involves the construction of a new dwelling and septic system in the buffer zone to a coastal bank and wetlands that exist on the other side of the existing gravel road. So this site does currently have an existing cottage on it, an old dwelling. And the objective is to build a new dwelling on the site. They are, however, leaving the other structure there and essentially removing the kitchen from it, therefore making it not a second house. I questioned that a little bit to the engineer. He says that this has been approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals for this use. So that's where that is. The septic plan has been reviewed by the Board of Health. And during my initial review of this, there was a proposal to run the driveway around, loop it around down the coastal bank. I had requested that that not be done, so the plan's been revised. And now that is not proposed at this point in time. So what we have is this proposed dwelling and small shed behind it, and then the proposed septic system, which is in the back of the proposed house. The 30-foot no activity zone is fairly close to the house. That's this black line right here. This is the 30 feet to the top of the coastal bank. So the proposed house is outside of that, but there's going to have to be obviously limitations on work that goes on in here other than existing driveway that's already there. We do have a DEP file number for this project. So now that this septic plan has been approved by the Board of Health, I would say the commission could issue an order of conditions for this project with the standard conditions and the added conditions that no new landscaping or clearing is done within the 30-foot no activity zone to the top of the coastal bank. And the driveway is to remain gravel as it's proposed or as it exists.
Excuse me. Rob, anything to add?
No, I have nothing to add to that.
Thank you. Questions? Elisa,
No.
Kwame,
No questions. Thank you.
Carol,
No questions.
Ron,
No questions.
Michael,
None, thank you.
Nicole.
No, thank you.
I have no questions. Is there anybody on the line that would like to comment to this project? I'm hearing none, seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing.
I have a
Second.
mo- I have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor, Lisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael,
Yep.
Sandy, it is closed. Okay, what would you like to do, folks?
Somebody else try a motion.
I need a motion for standard order conditions plus the stipulation there's no clearing or landscaping within the 30-foot no activity zone. That would be the motion if someone
Driveway-
wants to
and-
make it.
And the driveway stays gravel as it is now, with no extension and widening.
Okay,
Second.
So.
I heard a motion and a second. All in favor, Elisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, done. You have it, Rob. So before you do anything, get your paperwork for Mr. Bichette, okay?
Will do. Thank you so much.
Wow. Say goodbye to that one. That's it for hearings. Now I'd like to go back to do enforcement orders.
Yeah, we just had this enforcement order that's been in front of us before for 28 Winship Ave, which involved the placement of some pilings out at a pier without any permits. We had spoken to the owner about this, and they initially said they were going to try to file a notice of intent to get this permitted. They have since changed their mind on that, and they're simply going to have those pilings removed. So we just had this on the agenda so that could be noted. Sandy asked for this to be on, so that could be officially noted during the meeting.
Have they started work on it, Dave?
No, not at this point.
Okay, certifications of compliances.
There's two certificate of compliance requests from the same applicant. This was for two projects on Minot Ave that were permitted under orders of conditions several years ago. Those permits had run out, and they have since gotten new permits or new orders of conditions for the same projects, which are under construction. They're simply trying to clean up the old orders of conditions that were still on the deed. So I would recommend the issuance of these two certificate of compliances to clean those old orders up.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and second, all in favor, Lisa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron, Michael,
Yes.
Cindy. Okay, those are cleaned up. Now let's go to our minutes that we didn't do at the beginning. We have a few minutes. Let me pull them up. Okay. We have a set of minutes from January 15th, 2020. Let's see. Oh, hey. Lisa and I were there.
There we are.
Oh. Carol did them, so Carol can vote. She reviewed them.
I watched.
Yeah, you worked hard. Okay, I like it. Someone make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you. I have a second. All in
Yes.
favor, Elissa,
Yes.
Kwame, Carol.
Yes.
Yes.
Kwame, did you listen to him?
Excuse me?
Did you listen to these minutes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Carol, Ron,
I have to
Michael.
abstain. I only read them. I didn't watch the
and
video.
myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 2. Done. Okay, the next set of minutes, October 7th, 2020. Sandy, Ron, Carol were there, and myself, so.
Oh, man.
Sandy, Ron, Carol, and yourself?
You counting yourself twice, Sandy?
Oh, yeah, twice. 1, 2, 3. There were 3 of us there.
Oh.
Someone make a motion to
Motion
accept.
to accept the
Octo-
minutes.
Second,
Okay, all in favor, Elissa, Kwame,
I
Carol,
wasn't,
yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael,
I wasn't there.
Sandy, yes, so did I hear Alyssa, yes, so we have a 402 again?
right.
Next set of minutes. October. Oh, never mind. We just approved minutes that didn't exist because we didn't have a meeting. But I just wanted them on file because we have to provide minutes for every single agenda that we had in 20 and 21. So October 4th, we had a meeting to talk about forms and permits
So training.
for training. So Carol, Ron, Lisa, and myself were there.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second,
All in favor, Lisa,
Aye.
Kwame,
I
Carol,
wasn't there.
yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy.
Fuck.
So I think it's another 402.
Correct.
We now have another set, we have a set of minutes for October 21st, 20. We have Lisa, Ron, Carol, myself. Okay,
I wasn't there again. Jeez.
Move that we accept the
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Alyssa,
Yes.
Kwame, Carol,
Wasn't there.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael,
I'll
Sandy,
abstain from that.
another 402.
That might
Then
have
we
been
have-
before your day, Kwame.
Oh, I gotta review all these. notes
I don't know.
again.
I think you were slacking.
No,
That whole month though, I wasn't available for the whole month.
Were you on
Well-
the commission then, though?
no, wait a
No,
second.
I don't think so.
don't know.
I
Don't
think
go there.
I
We're
think that
all
was-
set. We're good to go.
Kwame, you attended the October 28th as a guest. We didn't put you, we didn't
Ah,
recommend you
that's what it
until
was.
after October 28th.
Yes,
So
it was close, because Kwame and I
Yes,
came out
it
on the
was.
same time. That was about this,
Right.
like November or so.
See, Kwame, you're
Okay.
not at fault.
October 28th,
I'm off the list.
Alyssa, Sandy, Carol, Ron. By this time, Carol and Ron were no longer associates. They were full members. This was another training session.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay, so we have the minutes of October 28th, 20.
Move we
Motion
accept
to
the
approve the minutes.
of October 28th, 20.
I have a motion
Ash-
and a second. All in favor, Alyssa, Kwame, Carol,
was there.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy.
Go with that one.
402. Now we have minutes of 7/21/21. Yay. Okay, good job. I did a little tweaking to it, but nothing major. 7/21/21. Sandy, Alyssa, Michael, Kwame, Carol, and Ron was missing. So I got 5. Okay, if someone wants to make a motion to accept July 21, 21.
July
Motion to accept.
21.
Okay, Alyssa, Kwame, Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy. So we have had, all of us, 600.
Yes, I did watch. I did watch.
Okay, we do have minutes for February 16th, 2022. Wow. Sandy, Alyssa, Ron, Michael, Kwame, Carol. All of us
We're here.
We're here.
Right?
Motion to accept the minutes of February 16th.
Second.
Second, all in favor, Alyssa, Kwame, Carol, Ron,
Yes.
Michael, Sandy, 6 0, 0. Okay, now let's get back to what we have to do and why we haven't got them in from the people who said they would have them in. And Ron, I know your machine went bad.
So I'm
Okay.
crossing my fingers that when that gets looked at, it comes back up and they're still there. Because if not, I'm gonna be watching another 3-hour video and I'm gonna invite everybody over for some popcorn.
Okay. Kwame, where's your February 2nd?
Yep. I just have to type them out. That's
I heard
it.
that I heard that 2 weeks ago.
I said that.
Hey, Kwame,
Yes,
no,
you
no,
did.
it's okay, Kwame, don't worry.
Kwame, look at little mustache. Oh, wait, let me
Let's
see.
go back and watch. Let's go back and watch the last meeting to hear Kwame say that.
Oh, no, not necessary, Ron. I'll
Okay.
have them to you. I'll have them to you this weekend.
Now,
Guaranteed.
I'm working on some from June of 2020, but unfortunately the videos from WCTV are missing. And so I'm trying to recreate them from my notes. I'm also working on December 2nd, 20.
I will
Again, that,
track down those. I do have those on DVD, so I will get those for
Okay.
you.
okay, so that December 2nd is also missing. So let's go here. All right. We are up against it, folks. We have to have these minutes done by the end of April,
right?
which means we have to have them done and approved before the end of April. So we really have to make a push to get as much as we can done in the 6th. I have not spoken to Mr. Sullivan about a floater to help us, but okay.
But we have a meeting on the 20th.
Yes,
April.
but that has to be, the 20th is our last possible date of getting minutes approved. But I'd like to try to get something done for April 6th. So we're looking at minutes for 2021. Is there anybody that would be willing to do August 4th? To me, we're looking at Carol, Michael. Oh, Michael, where are yours for March 4th?
I'll
20.
get that in soon. I promise. I promise I'll get that in shortly.
Okay, so that's a promise. Ron is a promise. Kwame is a promise. So, okay. Michael, I'm going to ask you to do April 21st,
Again, 2021, you said?
2021, Michael.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, can I get the minutes from the meeting that I chaired that you were absent that went by in like 19.5 minutes?
Oh, when was that?
When you were on vacation?
No, when was that?
When you were
don't
on
remember the
vacation?
date? Oh,
I don't
come
remember
on.
the date. You were on vacation. You were in California. Come on, you don't remember when you were in California? Or Arizona, wherever it was you were?
Oh, that was the shortest one.
That was
That's
the
why you
shortest
wanna-
meeting, I think, in the history of Concom. So I would like to do those minutes.
Wait, let me see if I was gone in May, August, July. I'm looking. I don't know.
I know it's a
I don't know which one it is.
large, it's a large
I'm looking.
request.
We'll figure it out. It wasn't a very long agenda, so.
Yeah, it was a small agenda.
The answer's still no.
No, the answer was
I
yes.
gave
I'll
him
find
a
it.
minute, he
Sandy,
hasn't done his first
I'll
minute.
find it. I'll find out which one it was, and I will do the minutes for that one also.
And find
I'll
him the
submit
3.5 hour one that isn't done.
Give that one to Carol.
I've already done
I
one.
already have one.
Okay, so other than the three of you catching up, Michael's gonna do April 21st.
21st, I really got March 4th on the way, so don't worry about it. Okay.
Oh, I'm trying to
many do
remember,
we
which
have,
one did I
Sandy?
miss? Huh?
Sandy, how many more do we have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that haven't been assigned.
Oh my
Holy
God.
crap.
All right, I'm not gonna be here for the next 2 weeks anyway, until the 9th.
Okay,
Sandy,
So-
I'll end
No,
up,
no,
I'll end
no.
up working on one of them as well. So I'll try to squeeze
Yeah.
that in and deal with one of them at least.
I should be able to do something when I get back.
Yeah, put me on
Alright.
for one more, Sandy.
When did
Sandy,
I
please.
go out west? Wait a second. I went out in December. That's what it was, December. I'm looking at my notes. Because I want to make sure we give Ron a short one. Yeah. I missed the
So we-
meeting of these, I missed the meeting of December 15th.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you were going to say, wasn't it, Ron?
I said, I thought it was in December. It was my dad's birthday. That's why.
Okay, so I'm working on I'm working on 4. Ron's got December 15th and November 3rd. Michael's got March 4th of 20 and
Oh,
April
21st of last year.
21st of 21. Okay, Carol. Kwame's got February 2nd, 2022. Denise
take
is gonna,
another.
yeah, you'll take another?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
You want
why don't I-
today's?
No, we're trying to get 21 taken care of. I'm gonna give
Man.
you December 1st, 2021.
Is that a short one?
I don't know.
Man,
Sorry, Kwame.
Ron, I'll laugh if that's the short one.
Well, there were a lot of continued ones.
Oh, that's a holiday, so.
December 1st was a lot of continued ones. So that should help, where we had no discussions. All right. On minutes, okay.
What do
At
you
what
give me,
point-
Sandy? You didn't give me one.
I didn't give you a new one?
I'll
No.
beg for it there.
Okay, how about November 7th, 2021,
November 7th,
17th?
17th, 2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now, Nicole. I don't think it's fair to ask you to do minutes yet, but I might in another meeting.
I was actually going to offer, but I didn't know if I was allowed to.
You are
take
allowed to.
mine.
You are allowed to as many as you would like.
Absolutely.
Let's start with one. I'll sign up for one.
2.
How about one? Of course, okay, how about October 20th, 2021? And you could reach out to me to help you with who was here and who wasn't there type of thing.
Okay.
So let me send you some documentation. I have a form that I use as a standard. I'll send that to you to help, doing the formation of the minutes. I
Okay.
will reach out to you as to my process. I copy the agenda off of the town website, put it on a Word document, and use that as my foundation.
Okay.
So I don't have to retype any of those hearings. That becomes, and then I fill in with my format, my standard format. All right. So I will be giving you something to help you.
Okay.
It won't help me though, because I don't know how to use it. So you have to reformat my minutes for me again.
No, I don't.
You didn't have to
I just-
reformat
I just tweaked them a little.
them? Okay.
I
That's all you,
just do it. Yeah.
okay.
Sandy, I'll contact you again as far as mine go when on my way back.
Okay.
All right, just don't give me
Nicole,
any.
did I get,
no, I just
Nicole,
can't even think about it. No,
I gave you October 20th, right?
Yes, October 20th, 21, right?
Okay. And you go to the WCTV Wareham website and go
Okay.
down what is referred to as archive, drop down to meetings, slide over to conservation, and they're all there dated.
Okay.
Get a hold of me if I just confused you more.
That
Okay,
was the
and
easy part is finding the video. That part, the archives is really easy to work with. She'll,
I do have one more question.
Yes,
If I find this to be easy enough to do and I can get it all done, do I have to, can I just let you know that I can do more, or does
And
it have to be in a meeting?
nope, nope. You say, I'm done, Sandy. What else can I do? And I will look for the next available slot,
Awesome.
next empty slot.
oh, we love it.
Okay,
Love
now,
you. You can do more.
Ron is going to give me a copy of the solar bylaw article that's being submitted to special Springtown meeting. That correct? And I will pass it out to everybody for discussion.
Yes,
that-
that is correct. I will forward that to you. That way, everybody on the commission can review it and we can discuss it at the next meeting in hopes that we could get the commission to back the bylaw, not necessarily have to write a letter, but just state support for it so that the printed media that we will advertise to the public will show all of the different committees in town and outside entities that might support the bylaw so that the voters of the town can see where the support is coming from.
Thank you. And we all received in the mail today the Department of Environmental Protection email regarding LSC Hydra,
Yes.
correct? All right,
And Sandy, I have a question if you're done with the list.
I
on-
believe,
On continuances.
yes,
Okay, so I wonder, you know, when we do a continuance, there's some people who like the project, some people on the board that don't like the project. And so sometimes opinions get out there, you know, we're gonna see this, but I don't know, you know, we're gonna do a continuance, we're gonna continue this project, but I can't see why it's not gonna go, or something like that, or, you know, that makes sense to me. So I think we have to be a little bit careful, a little bit about what we say. I know it's an open meeting and I know people can come and all that, and maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But when, you know, say Ron says, gee, you know, I really like that dam there and, you know, can't see why it won't go on the continuance or something like that. I think we have to be careful unless it's not important.
okay. We try very hard to continue something, to indicate in this meeting why we are requesting a continuance if the applicant has not submitted a request for continuance.
Right.
So,
You do,
you know.
that's not the problem. It's when you
Okay.
say, gee, I really like that dock project, you know, gee, that's a great idea. I don't know, you know, and the dock is being continued till next time. So, you know, so it becomes, gee, this is what Elisa said, you know, she said it was a great dock. It was just really beautiful and all that. And I don't know.
I think I think your point is that there should be just a neutral continuance without
Yeah.
any additional comment. No, I
Exactly.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. We take it, our personal comments, stay off of it until we're done.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes,
you-
I.
Yeah.
Yes, I did make a comment 2 weeks ago on a
Hey,
dock.
No,
I
no,
most certainly
no,
did.
Doc, you know, I wasn't here that day, so I have no idea what you said. I wasn't here.
Okay, is there anything else that we'd like to talk about before someone says these magic words?
Like motion to adjourn
I have a motion to adjourn at 8:35.
and a
All in-
second.
And a second. All in favor, just say aye.
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 I'll think
Thank
about it.
you. See you in 2
Aye.
weeks.
Lot of work,
Enjoy,
Sandy.
en-
Good night.
enjoy the
So